Good morning, home builders. It is Friday, which is day 60, and this is me posting our video for day 59 late. Because, pardon me, but yesterday apparently I was an idiot. Anyway, day 59, we're in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 11 through 13, and this is where Samuel had been called by the Lord while he was really yet a child and under the care of Eli the priest. And this is a really uncomfortable situation because God tells Samuel to tell Eli what his judgment is going to be for Eli's sins and the sins of his sons. Now, when you first have read this account, you may think to yourself, now, whoa, what is just God doing, punishing Eli for the sins of his sons? And the Word of God specifically says, when we look at it closely, that it's because he restrained them not. God is indicating that there was a duty by Eli, the father of these two, to restrain them, to discipline them, to teach them, to keep them at some point from influencing the people of Israel of going down an evil path. Things were not going well at all in Israel, and the people were going down a wicked way, and it seems that specifically this is under the leadership. It's under the leadership of Eli, but specifically the guidance of his sons, who also were either priests or priests in training. So Eli is being held to account for what he has permitted his sons to get into. It is a big deal, what we permit our sons and daughters to get into, to do. Now, sin is an individual thing, okay? And there are sins that were committed by Eli's two sons. However, it is a separate and distinct sin that Eli had a chance to curtail some of that and to teach and train in a way that would have curtailed some of that. And he did not do it. And that's what he's held to account for by God. Now, another question there is, okay, so how does that happen? Because that helps us apply this in our lives a little bit more. And in one way mentioned by the author that I would highlight as well is when we allow sin to permeate in ourselves. There are some descriptions that of Eli elsewhere that let us know that he was lax in his own life in some ways and not following the Lord. There's the idea that they were getting fat on the sacrifices, on what was to be God's, eating things that they shouldn't have eaten, taking maybe too much of what were to be offerings or sacrifices to the Lord. And that was a problem that he had in his own life. And what we find, I think, in our own experiences is that when we have issues like that in our own life, issues with sin, we're going to be less likely to hold to account our own children. I mean, after all, do we want to be hypocrites? I mean, that's a whole nother thing. And we don't want to do that, or that's uncomfortable. So, or in a even worse case, sometimes we may want to take our children and make them complicitors in our sin. I've seen that in my life. I've seen people do that, and that's even worse. But so we have those different motivations, and what it causes us is to have a lack of desire or motivation or really initiative to correct emerging sin in our children. So we need to be careful of that. We need to train them in the right way. This is a failure of discipline on the part of Eli, and we need to make sure that we learn from it and we don't slip into that same mistake ourselves. The earlier that we can foster a desire, an independent desire, initiative to really be what the Lord wants us to be, the better for our children. Have a great day. I'm going to be posting day 60 as well. And if you see this and you haven't seen it yet, I actually already posted this morning a special edition devotion that I posted not long after dawn this morning from in front of the steps of the Holy Cross Immaculata Church on Mount Adams, and all of the people praying the steps there. So you may want to check on that. Have a great day, everybody. See you tonight at the Good Friday service.